Hi, everybody. I'm Ken Kirschenbaum. Thanks for joining us. Today's webinar is about DIY products and why you should be buying them, selling them, installing them. Jake Voll is from SSandSI. They are a distributor of DIY products, Qualys and Alarm.com product. I'm going to let Jake tell you all about himself and his business, and he's got plenty to tell you about why you should be doing this. I do want to remind you that I've been pushing DIY products to all you professional alarm companies as something that you should be doing in conjunction with your professionally installed systems. So I'm not necessarily saying that you should drop your professional systems and go DIY, although plenty of people are doing that and they're specializing in it. And we do have a contract for you if you decide to do that on a nationwide basis. But I think at the very least, you need to be offering these DIY products as a supplementary system to your professionally installed systems. Very often, customers want some of these bells and whistles that are pretty much only offered, at least from an economic standpoint, by the wireless systems, and which lend themselves to DIY. And rather than lose the sale altogether, you're better off going with the DIY products. But Jake, I don't want to do your whole webinar for you. I've been accused of that before. So
hey, no, that's great. Thanks so much for the intro.
It's all yours. It's all
great.
yours.
So let's talk about self-installs. First of all, I want to talk to you a little bit about who I am and why I'm here. I want to talk to you about do-it-together installs and how they differ from do-it-yourself installs. And I want to let you know that it's not going to be hard for you to get involved in this. We make it super easy for you to do it. So first of all, a little bit about me. I'm president of SSandSI Dealer Network. We're an independent distribution company, and we cater to independent alarm dealers, just over 600 alarm dealers in 46 states. We offer a very a high level of support and a lot of special programs for our customers. I also want to note that if you go to Burglar Alarms Online on Facebook, that's an industry-specific Facebook group. And it's an excellent resource for you for technical information, sales and marketing resources, and just a great way for you to network with some of your industry colleagues. A lot of times guys will actually find that they can get technical support information quicker through Burglar Alarms Online than they can waiting on hold for tech support. If you do go there, you'll see me up at the top of the page. So SSandSI stands for Security Sales and Solutions, Inc. We're more than a distribution company. We offer marketing support, vendor programs, and access to capital through funding, financing, and bulk deals. We offer a very high level of support and have earned ourselves some very loyal customers nationwide. This is my dog, Coco. She just joins me on these webinars. All right, so why are we going to do it together, right? Well, the fact is it's a germy world out there right now. People are scared about coronavirus. They're scared of having people in their houses. They still want security, but they don't want a technician to come out there. The fact is that we reached out to over 2,000 customers and prospects, and we said, hey, what's going on? How's coronavirus impacting you? For the most part, it was mostly neutral or positive. Some of it was downright depressing, but across the board, what we heard is installations have been postponed or canceled. Now that's a real challenge. So we said, hey, how can we make this happen? How can we make this work? Well, the good news is that the guys at Qualys and Alarm.com, they've come up with the technology that makes it possible for you to offer an assisted self-install. We'll get into what that is and how that works. But I also think it's very important to note Parks Associates, they've reported that last year in 2019, 47% of folks that got security systems installed them themselves. So even though we're looking at this right now as a solution to get through this coronavirus crisis, I think it's very important to note that post-coronavirus, there's a real opportunity here that we should be looking at. Of course, doing it together is more fun than doing it yourself. All right, so who is it that makes it super duper easy for you to do self-installs and assisted self-installs? Well, it's Qualys and it's Alarm.com and it's us at SSandSI making it super easy for you to do that. what we do with each of our dealers that's participating in this program is we will ship the kits directly to you or to your customer. So if you want us to handle the fulfillment, we can do that for you. There's no upcharge for that. We encourage you to schedule an assisted install. Unlike DIY companies where they ship a box and they leave it to the customer to install it themselves, an assisted install puts your technicians to work at a time when they might otherwise not be working, right? We want to give these guys an opportunity to still get some hours on payroll, and this is a way for you to do that, to put them to use, to be providing support and providing a higher level of service than these people might find going with a traditional DIY provider. These systems are super easy to install. I don't know if you've seen a Qualsys system. It looks like an iPad. You can set it on the counter. It's all wireless. You can literally stick the door window sensors on the doors and windows and put your motion detector up. Little 3M goes a long way. Now, as a guy that's a big advocate for pro install, I think it's very important that post-coronavirus, you schedule a time to go back out there, meet with your customers, make sure that the system's been professionally installed and tested, go through everything, add additional devices, video doorbells, smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors, all of those things that you might not trust them to do right themselves. The fact is, it's pretty easy to put up some door window sensors and motion detectors. All right, so let's kind of open up the box on this program. When you participate in the self-install program, we get you a branded self-install guide. So when your customer is looking to figure out, hey, how the heck do I make this thing work? They're going to have detailed instructions starting with step 1 to open the box, going through mounting the devices and calling you to activate the system. It's very important that that you're available on the phone to walk these folks through doing that, making sure that the system is tested with the central station. Now, as it relates to contracts, if you haven't already, take one of your Kirschenbaum contracts and make sure that you have a Kirschenbaum contract if you're doing this, and get it set up digitally so that you can send it out through DocuSign. We also work with the guys at Workhorse. If you're not familiar with Workhorse or an industry-specific software platform, they set up eDocs so that you can send these out directly to your customers. If you're looking for an eDoc solution, check out the guys at Workhorse and make sure that you're using a Kirschenbaum contract when you're doing that. All right, so look, how are you gonna, you could do these self-installs, but how are you gonna let people know? The fact is, your prospects right now, they're glued to the internet. They're looking for the latest update on coronavirus. They're looking to find out when the schools are gonna open back up so they can get their kids out of the house. The fact is, your competition is looking for them where they're at right now on social media, online, and if you don't find them there and give them an alternative to the big DIY companies, your competition will, and I want you to win. So not only do we make it super easy by offering fulfillment direct to subscriber, but we also give you the tools that you need to market this program. So in addition to providing the branded quick start guide, we actually set up a branded customized social media ad for you that you can use on Facebook, and it directs people to a branded customized landing page where they can request more information about this self-install system. The cool thing is we set that up and automate it. When they fill out that form, it goes directly to you and anybody else within your organization who needs to be responding to those leads quickly. Let me pull up one of those pages just to show you what that looks like in real life. All right, so this is one of those landing pages. This is, again, customized for you. We don't charge anything to get this set up. And this is branded with all of your information, directs the leads right to you. Not only is it a great way for you to collect the information, but it's also a great way for you to walk people through the install. So it is as easy as 1, 2, 3 here, stepping them through number 1, calling you and speaking to one of your technicians to activate the account, and then going through and setting up the system. If walking them through it over the phone or these simple instructions, the quick startup guide aren't enough, we actually provide videos on here as well that walk them through everything that they need to do to put this online. These are just some pictures of people smiling with me. This is Jeremy from Qualsys. Looks like he might not be on here yet today, but he will be joining me for webinars later on in the week. All right, so what are the folks saying? This isn't specific to the self-install program, but this is specific to SSandSI and specific to Qualsys. Our dealers love us. Our dealers love Qualsys. They're just super excited about the technology that's available through Qualsys and the level of support that they're able to receive through us as a value-added reseller of Qualsys. And people ask me, say, hey, Jake, why are you doing this self-install program? Why are you doing it with Qualsys and Alarm.com? Here's the facts. Qualsys and Alarm.com are the bacon of the industry. They sizzle, people like it, it looks good, and people really want to do it together solution right now, something that is not, a technician in their house coughing on them, sneezing on them, spreading contagion. They want to have something that's super easy for them to install themselves with the assistance of a technician over the phone. That's Qualsys, that's Alarm.com. And that, to me, that's the bacon of the industry. And if I have a choice to sell anything, it's going to be to sell the bacon. All right, now, for those of you that are saying, hey, this is cool stuff, I want to participate in this self-install program, I'm excited about it, I like the opportunity that this presents, I need you to do 3 things for me. Number 1, I need you to request by email that we make Qualsys special pricing available to you. If you don't have special pricing in place, we'll be happy to save you 30% on your Qualsys equipment as compared to list rate. If you do have Qualsys special pricing in place, we'll be happy to match that for you. We don't charge anything at all in order to make this program available to you. It's just a way for us to help our dealers deal with this coronavirus situation. We also want to make sure that you send us your logo. You can send in whatever format you have. We'll be happy to work with it, get it online, and get you set up. And then place an order for 1 or more systems. We want you to have 1 in the chamber ready to go and ready to fill that first order for you. Now, Ken, I'd love to kind of open it up to questions from you, Ken, and any other questions that we might have from the attendees here with us today. Guys, if you have any questions at all, you can go to the chat bar there and you can type in your questions and I'll be able to see them here on the chat screen.
Hey, Jeff, I'm sorry I wasn't paying attention. You there?
I'm here, yep.
Okay, we have a couple of questions. Well, someone didn't like your sound. Wow. Wow, look at that. The bunch of jets just went by. I guess they're doing a show. What is the shipping time from when I order it?
So we ship it the same or the next day for you. If it's pre-programmed, it's likely to go out the next day. If you're going to be handling programming yourself, we can ship that same day to you on any orders placed by 4 p.m.
We need help on advertising. That doesn't sound like a question, but let's turn it into one.
No, that's great. That's actually a very good point. I think that's probably one of the biggest challenges that we see with dealers is they, whatever product it is that they have, they struggle to figure out a way to market it and advertise it. We really work with our dealers and with our vendor partners to provide some excellent resources. Again, as part of this program, we do offer branded, customized social media ads and landing pages. We've actually created a group specific to dealers that are participating in this program where they can share some of their experiences and best practices and where they can get access to additional resources from Qualsys and from us in the form of ads and tutorials and things like that they can share with customers.
Okay, so that's shared advertising that you coordinate.
That's right.
The next question, do we have to use Alarm.com?
Well, for Qualsys, you do. So Qualsys only works with Alarm.com. Now, if you were using another product, I encourage you to look into the self-install model as something that may work with whatever it is that you're offering. There's a lot of options that are out there. We've kind of chosen Qualsys as the preferred manufacturer for our program that we're facilitating. But whether you buy from us or you buy from somewhere else and you're using whatever product it is that you're using, I definitely encourage you to do it together as a viable model for your business.
Where do you ship stock from?
We ship from Florida and Alabama. So Alabama branch is stocking Qualsys and Alarm.com equipment, and it's 2 days throughout the South and the East Coast. So we're 2 days to Texas and 2 days to New York, and 1 to 2 days everywhere in between.
Can you tell us which dealers are doing a DIT now?
Yeah, so I'll give you an example of one of those companies. So this is one that I think has been real creative with it. This is a company called Silent Guard in Kentucky. So it's pretty cool. They've kind of embraced this and really made it a part of their model here, which is exciting. Hey, Jeremy.
Sorry I'm late, guys.
No, that's all right. No worries. Hey, I'm working on a little bit of a beard here.
Oh, nice.
Your beard is so impressive, man.
Helps.
I love it. I love it. It's encouraging to me. So in any case, Silent Guard is a company that is doing a really cool job with their marketing on this stuff. They've got leads. There's another company. Let me see if I can pull them up here too. I just love what some of these guys have done with.
Why don't you skip the names and just tell us what they're doing?
Yeah, so what they're doing is they're doing Facebook advertising primarily. So these guys are using Facebook to market the program and market the systems. And what's interesting is they're actually getting leads that are not just limited to self-installs. Some of these guys are getting leads that are for camera systems. I actually talked to a guy in Oklahoma that he expected to get just new customers with this program, but he had a customer that was moving from Oklahoma to Arizona, and that customer wanted to continue with the service that he knew and trusted with this particular company. And so they shipped the self-install kit to his new house in Arizona, and they'll walk. In fact, I think they walked him through installation activation just the other day. So not only is it an opportunity for new customers, but it's a really great opportunity for account retention, which is pretty exciting.
You know, I had a client, it's several years ago, I recall getting the call. His whole business model was installing DIY equipment. And this is years ago now, not recently. It's years, at least 3-4 years, I bet. So that was his model. What percentage of systems your dealers sell to an end user never get installed? That's an interesting.
That's a great question. Yes. So and that's an important metric to look at when you guys are offering this program. So ultimately, you want people to install this system and pay you for monitoring. You want it to be activated. Now, if they buy a system on Amazon and it gets shipped to their door and they put it off and it's on the honey-do list and they throw it on a shelf, maybe it's on top of the refrigerator collecting dust for the next 6 to 12 months. That is not a paying subscriber. That's not somebody that you're looking for. That's why we really encourage you to schedule that install. Just as you would if you're professionally installing the system, schedule that time with the customer when you can walk them through installation. Because if you just have it there collecting dust, who cares? You sold some hardware, and you don't have anybody paying you monthly for it. I can't tell you exactly what that percentage is, other than that anybody participating in the program or doing any type of similar program should really work to keep that number as low as possible and be very proactive with these customers to get the systems online.
Well, there's things you can do to help encourage that too, right? Like the very first thing you want to do is you want to make it enticing for them to want to open it, and you want to make it easy for them to get started. If your box experience is a bunch of stuff jumbled in there, and they open it up and they're like, well, what do I do with all these little boxes? It's a sensor here and a motion sensor here and a panel here, and I'm not sure what I do and where I start. That potentially makes them go, well, maybe I'm going to talk about another day. Whereas if you've got this great experience, you open it up the box and the first thing they see is hey, thanks for doing this, and there's a QR code, for example. Let's say you took a QR code. You can go online and get any QR code generator that says, go to, silentguard.com/get started, or scan this with your phone. And now when you scan it with your phone, it takes you to the, hey, we're glad you're here. Let's get started. The first thing I want you to do is do this, do that. And it walks them through that process. There's almost this curiosity that a customer will want to satiate as they go through and I want to see what happens next. I want to see what you do next. And if the steps are simple, the steps are easy, the steps are fun, and it's a good looking user experience, you're going to increase your activation rate.
Yeah, and again, that's a really good point. So, that's another reason that we include steps 1 through 3 on here. Look, the reality of it is there's more than 3 steps, right? But all of those steps are going to be clearly defined in the setup guide. But the perception of the ease of installation has to be there. They have to be fully confident that when they get this system, it's going to be super, super duper easy for them to install it themselves. That's why we really put an emphasis on that kind of that 1, 2, 3 simplicity of it.
I thought the whole point of this was do it together as opposed to do it yourself. Don't you want the installers to be involved in the installation?
Absolutely. And that's why step 1 here is call us, right? So we want them that the first thing that they do should be to call the office and get on the phone with the technician.
Next question. Do we have to use a specific monitoring station?
No, you can use whatever monitoring station you want. These devices would be activated and managed through your own alarm.com account. You'd set it up just like any other alarm.com account and point it to whatever central station that you want to use.
We have our own central station. Can your systems be programmed to our center?
Yeah. So the cool thing is alarm.com is it's easy. I mean, you can either have an Osborne Hoffman receiver set to the appropriate protocols to send those in IP to the receiver, or you could just forward the signals in on a toll-free line like you would any other device. So alarm.com makes it super easy for you to communicate with whatever central station you're at.
Wait a second. First of all, aren't all these systems that, at least the ones that go through alarm.com, they are going through alarm.com receivers. The central stations are not receiving a signal directly from the customer's site. It's going through alarm.com and then to the central station, right?
That's right. Yeah. So the cool thing is that, with these panels, since it goes through alarm.com, if for some reason your central station got hit with a meteor, you could go in there and just point those to whatever central station you wanted. So that's really the cool thing about having alarm.com as a platform. It is a way for you to point these devices wherever it is that you want those devices to go.
But does the central station have to have a contract with alarm.com before alarm.com will send signals to the central?
No. So in fact, you can actually define the receiver information in alarm.com. So you should not have to have a central station agreement between central station and alarm.com.
Okay, because every subscriber needs to agree to alarm.com terms.
Yes.
Right. Okay. I don't know about Qualys. I don't know how that works. Does Qualys also signals also go through a Qualys receiver or direct from customer to central station?
So when you activate a panel, the cellular radio inside connects directly to alarm.com, and then that then goes to alarm.com. So it's all the alarm.com.
Is Qualys alarm.com?
No.
No. So I said Qualys. How does a Qualys system work?
The Qualys system has an LTE radio inside it that connects directly to the alarm.com cloud. So when you activate an account, the only way to activate a Qualys panel is to go into alarm.com and activate the IMEI number, the same type of card or SIM card that you have in a cell phone, and you activate that on alarm.com. That allows the panel to talk directly to the alarm.com cloud, and then the alarm.com cloud will then direct the signals to the central station that you dictate.
Okay, let me just, again, I'm not in the alarm industry, so everyone please excuse me, so I want to clear up my own confusion. So Qualys is a manufacturer of an alarm panel, and that panel can be used with other alarm.com components and equipment, correct?
Correct.
Right. And alarm.com manufactures their own panel also?
No.
No. Oh, so alarm.com uses the Qualys panel.
Think of it like Qualys is your iPhone and alarm.com is Verizon.
How about just making it clear for me? Qualys is the panel, but it works with the alarm.com system, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Alarm.com is not a system. Alarm.com is a cloud interactive service provider. So they're providing all the connection between the panel and the central station. They're providing connection between the devices in the home and the remote app. So they're the interactive glue that holds all of the connections and communications together.
But doesn't alarm.com also have components?
Alarm.com has some cameras. They've got some thermostats. Their thermostats connect directly to the Qualys panel using Z-Wave technology. So it wouldn't matter which thermostat you're using, but one of their product, they happen to make a product that connects directly to the panel. And then the only way for them to get access to that thermostat is by using the connection through the panel that we create. The cameras that they make are connecting directly to the Wi-Fi in your home or through the panel, and then again going up to the cloud. They're essentially a cloud interactive service provider.
All right. So if you're using Alarm.com, which a lot of people do, that means that somewhere in that system is a Qualys panel. That's all I need to know. I don't know, but is that right?
I certainly hope so. There are other panel providers that Alarm.com supports. They support some of those older rubber button keypads, some of the ones with smaller touchscreens, things like that. So they probably have 4 or 5 different panel providers that provide service. But Qualys is the premier product, and it's the one.
So you're recommending Qualys, even though there might be some other panels. But now I understand what it is.
Yeah.
And we have our own central station. Can your systems be programmed to our center? The answer is yes, but it is coming through Alarm.com's receivers.
That's right. Yeah. And so one of the things to remember with that is even if there was for some reason some kind of downtime at the central station, the cool thing is that there is no scenario where, hey, central station didn't receive the signal and what the heck happened. Like you could go into Alarm.com. You could see that signal came into Alarm.com. There's full audit trail on that. So the cool thing is not only does Alarm.com relay that information to the appropriate central station, but they provide a full audit trail of when those signals came in.
Okay. Can we use any monitoring company? I think you just answered that. Does Qualys offer a customer-only notification, or are all systems monitored? Professionally monitored?
That's a great question, Ken. And I think that I'll share with you an example of a customer that we have, a dealer customer that's based in Texas. And they actually have 3 different options. They work primarily with builders, but they use 3 different options. Option 1 is you literally can buy the equipment from them, install it in your home, and it is literally just a local noisemaker. There's no remote connection. There's no app. There's no central station, nothing. Okay. This option number 2 is to activate an Alarm.com account, which essentially gives you the mobile app access remotely to anything you want to do. If the alarm goes off, the only person that will be notified is you on your mobile device, or the sounder, the alarm siren, the piezo inside in the home. That's option number 2, and they essentially are saying you can self-monitor if you choose.
What does Alarm.com charge for that option?
The Alarm.com's price is the same regardless. So the dealer is paying Alarm.com the ability to use their services. If they choose to have the signal passed on to the central station, which is option number 3, professionally monitored, okay, then the central station obviously has a charge for the dealer, and they've got an extra cost there. So let's call it $10 a month for Alarm.com and $5 a month for your central station. The dealer's cost essentially becomes $15, okay, to do that, for that full pro one. Some dealers are saying, and like this one I gave you the example, I'm saying, I only want to have a self-monitored option because that's what my customer wants, because later on down the road, I might want to offer them a pro monitored solution, and they can upgrade to that fully monitored with a central station type solution. But there is a segment of customers who doesn't want that. So given all 3 of those, it's very flexible to use that. You have to do that.
Who does Alarm.com invoice, the dealer or the central station?
The Alarm.com always invoices the dealer. The dealer, like the examples we've had here, the dealer has a relationship with Alarm.com, creates their accounts on Alarm.com, and then would dictate, just like Jake stated, would dictate where those signals are going to be routed, if they're going to be.
Okay. Yeah, so
Jake,
one important thing.
Jake, somebody wants your email address. You want to just give it out quickly?
Oh, sure. In fact, I'll just message it to everybody so that you have it. I look forward to send question to. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to send up a follow-up email post-call with all the information anyways.
Do me a favor and give everybody your email address. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah, it is Jake at SSandSI.com.
Oh, is it up there? Well, there's
Yeah,
sales.
can you see that?
All right, there's a sales email address. Use
Yeah,
that
so
one.
you can, mine is the same as this, just Jake at the beginning, like Jake from State Farm.
Oh,
But feel
okay.
free to email in sales. I've got a great team here to, that can help you and answer any questions that you have.
Okay, great. Next question. What is our liability with the self-install? Well, your liability, I'll answer that. Your liability is the same as with a regular system, depending on your involvement with that sale. Did you recommend the equipment? Did you tell them where to put it? If you've had little to do with the system itself, selecting the product or where it was installed, or then you're going to have very little exposure. You're not going to be involved with any security equipment, whether it's DIY or professionally installed, self-monitored, unless you have a contract. You must have a contract with the customer, otherwise you're not going to be involved. The only people that don't need a contract necessarily is if all you're doing is selling equipment, period. No monitoring at all, no help installing it. You're just a seller of equipment, a retail installer of equipment. Then you're going to sell it with a limited warranty, and you're not going to have any exposure beyond that.
Well, Ken, I would even ask, if either you're going to do that route, wouldn't you still want some kind of agreement that?
That's the next question. Ken, do you provide contracts to install DIY systems provided by other companies or bought through Amazon, etc.? The answer is that once you get involved with a customer, you have to have a contract. We have a nationwide DIY contract, which covers you in all different states, and that contract provides for installation by the customer. It'll also provide for telephone help if you're going to give it. It could also accommodate if you're recommending an installer for them, although it's not going to be you. It also covers self-monitoring or professional monitoring, and it deals with all of the consumer issues that are specific state by state. You get that at our alarmcontracts.com. That's alarmcontracts.com. It's our order form. It says, can we use our existing Kirschenbaum contracts, or is there different DIY DIT contracts? If you're selling within your jurisdiction, within the state that you're in, and you already have an all-in-one that you're using, then that contract will absolutely cover you for the DIY or DIT systems that you're involved with. Okay, keep in mind that what you're really looking for with these DIY systems is, at the very least, the monitoring aspect. If you're not getting the monitoring RMR, if you're not getting the monitoring, then I don't believe there's that much money in DIY installation. Okay, that's not something that you should be looking to build your business on. But the DIY monitoring is a different category that I think you should be looking to do. Now, tell us about RMR, please. A complete breakdown, if feasible. Well, RMR in the alarm industry is always the same. Monitoring, there's inspection, which you don't have here. Repair service, that's what you have. Runner service, guard service. RMR, by the way, in case you're new to the industry, is recurring monthly revenue. We refer to the items that we charge post-installation as RMR. If you're doing repair service on a per-call basis or inspection on a per-call basis, then it's not RMR. RMR is recurring revenue pursuant to contract. Jake, do you want to, or Jeremy, you want to add anything to that?
Just to add to that too, Ken. So the other aspect of the RMR that's possible through Qualsys and through Alarm.com is a whole host of home automation and video offerings as well. So the cool thing is that when you do install a smart home security system, you can do more than just security, and you can do more than just the service contracts that you might have. You can also do connected lights, locks, thermostats. You can do video, you can do video analytics, you can do cloud storage. All of this gives you an opportunity to get those RMR numbers way up. So I think, you know, to quote somebody else, you know, if it's just security monitoring that you're offering, you know, those are rookie numbers. We got to get those numbers way up.
Well, they're looking for more specifics on numbers. What kind of data can you share on RM? This says RMA. I don't know what.
Return merchandise. Yeah, so that's I guess what they're probably asking about is return merchandise. So, you know, the cool thing is that the failure rate, number one, on Qualsys is super low. So, you know, anytime that you're looking for an equipment provider that you're going to be working with, you want to make sure that you have a reliable manufacturer, because those RMAs will kill you with whether it's pro install or assisted self install. Either way, if stuff's going out and stuff's coming back, that's costing you a lot of money. I think that, again, it really, the biggest thing that's going to be a challenge for traditional alarm dealers that they've got to, you know, kind of wrap their brain around is, hey, how can I get these people to install this system quickly and activate it? I think that you'll probably see more people that might want to return it if you're not proactive about activating it than you'll see from product failure. Product failure is not going to be the source of returns for you. It's going to be just not being proactive about getting those systems activated.
And I think, you know, Jake, when you talk about activations, and this actually plays into RMR as well, you know, there's a number of features built into the IP panel that you could choose to charge for. Maybe the free built-in camera, you know, you want to only activate if they pay an extra X dollars per month. Maybe they've built it to have disarm photos sent to their phone. You want to charge them for that feature. Maybe the ability to connect up to 5 phones via Bluetooth for touchless disarming. You want to charge either per phone, or you want to charge to enable that service for them. Maybe you want to charge to turn on the built-in glass break detector, or, you know, use the panel camera as a camera that you can peek in from your phone. There's a lot of things you can use in the system to, you know, up your RMR. Now imagine that you have an RMR, let's call it $40 a month, but you want to have an entry-level RMR to entice some customers, you know, as low as $25 a month. And $25 a month gets you the base service, but if you want the Bluetooth disarming and the panel camera and the, you know, built-in glass break and things like that, that's an extra $1 here, $1 there, until you get up to the $40, $45 a month that you want to be at. You know, or you could say it actually takes you up to $50 a month to add all of those a la carte, but for $45 a month, I'll enable all of it right now, as well as these other 5 features like geofences and notifications and things like that. Okay, so there's a nice variety of, you know, differentiating features that allow you to not only stand apart from your competition, but also allow you to potentially gain more RMR if you choose to. And all those features, you know, blend in together to this solution that has been built as an all-in-one. So from an RMA standpoint, there's not a whole bunch of extra components you have to install and enable and things like that within it. It's all software-based, which means that it's all been tested from the factory to work. And again, that's why that failure rate is so low, is because it's tested on the same workbenches that things like Apple iPads, MacBooks, Cisco routers, etc. So a really, really strong success rate on those.
Money I would have liked. Oh, my audio is on too. I just created an account on your site. Is there, and there's definitely no way to beat the pricing. Everything is showing me $0.
So just so you know, my team will be reaching out to you once you register for us. We do check you out to make sure that you are an actual company, that you are appropriately licensed. So we will, once you're vetted and you are approved, you'll see pricing on there. What I do encourage you to do, if you are interested in the Qualsys products in particular, reach out to us and say, hey, look, I want special pricing. Everybody in my book is special. So you will get special pricing on Qualsys through us. Whatever rack rate pricing you see on there, it's like 30% less if you have special pricing on Qualsys.
How much equipment do they have to buy for you to pay for their Kirschenbaum contract?
Quite a bit.
I made that question up. You don't have to answer it. Here's the question. We currently use the Kirschenbaum contracts. Are there any modifications that need to be made to have you involved in this marketing fulfillment DIY program? The answer is no. the current all-in-ones already cover this type of system and service. Our base monitoring is $35 per month, providing two means of communication: primary IP and backup radio or cell, with a $10 upcharge for interactive services. I see most DIY companies offering monitoring for much less. How would you bridge that gap?
Well, a couple of things. Number one, I think it's important to remember that unlike traditional pro install, most of these folks that are opting for self-install are paying quite a bit of money up front for this equipment. So with pro install, a lot of times you're competing with the free or low cost systems where it may be subsidized on some level. I think you have an opportunity with the self-install to collect more up front. We see a lot of these DIY companies doing that. So that in of itself hopefully gives you an opportunity to have some flexibility on your RMR. You're not trying to recoup that equipment cost and that installation cost associated with a pro install when you're doing a self-install system. So that's number one. I would kind of look at that. And then number two, if you look at some of these DIY providers, once you start adding the additional services on that they offer or that they can't offer, I think you find pretty quickly that their numbers, believe it or not, they actually get fairly close to some of those numbers that you're talking about there. One of the largest DIY companies that's out there, once you're adding cellular and things like that, you're up to $25, $30 a month very quickly. I think that it's a pretty reasonable expectation that when you're providing smart home features, video doorbell on the panel, lights, locks, thermostats, video analytics, all of that is just an opportunity for you to get those RMR numbers up. Selling apples to apples, there's no need for you to do that, right? We have a product that is far superior to any of the other DIY offerings that are out there. So instead of trying to compare apples to apples on pricing, I would just offer all those additional services, and quickly you will find that you're not competing on price. They're realizing that those other providers can't compete on features, right? So that just kind of negates that question right off the bat.
What are specific liabilities when selling DIY systems? I would say that the most obvious one is that you want to be sure that the customer understands the limitations of these systems, that they're dependent on cellular service or radio service or internet service. They work on batteries, and they need to be very, very much aware of that. And you cover that by using the proper contract for the sale and installation. You cover it by using the disclaimer notice that we recommend. Both the disclaimer notice and the contract make it very clear that you are offering more sophisticated and better equipment that will provide better security. So it's up to them. They have to understand that the system that they're installing is designed for their budget, not necessarily the most and best protection that they can install and pay for. What are the most common problems with DIY installations?
I think actually kind of the anecdote that you offered earlier, Ken, about that guy who made a living installing do-it-yourself systems is I think that's just kind of the appropriate narrative here, right? People opt for DIY and then they realize, hey, I'd rather somebody do it for me or do it with me, right? So I think that even though all this stuff is super easy to set up and install, there's a level of intimidation that some people might experience dealing with the new technology, that having a really great support system, a professional technician to walk them through it over the phone or through video chat, I think that kind of resolves that challenge, right? DIY, if you talk to Home Depot, and I have, about their return rate on some specific DIY products. There's a DIY camera line sold to Home Depot. The return rate in Canada on that specific product was north of 30% because people bought this product, they didn't have the appropriate expectations, they didn't have the appropriate skill set to install it. 30% return rate will put you out of business. That's why we encourage people to provide that do-it-together install, because that just resolves all of those fears, all of those problems, and all those challenges that people have with a do-it-yourself model.
When you think about
Wait,
DIY as well,
I have a question. This is mine, not one of the dealers. So, do you think it would be smart to put? I'm asking this facetiously, actually. Do you think it would be smart that we put on the products if you don't have anybody under 40 at your household? You know, be wary, warning. This may not be for you, or call this hotline. You know, and they reach an elementary school, so that some kid can show them how to hook it up through the hub.
That's
Right?
2.0, Ken. We're gonna hire a bunch of. We got all these kids that are out of school right now. We're gonna pay them like $5 an hour. Put them in the back here and have them answer all these technical questions. I like the way. I like where your head's at.
Right.
All contracts should be signed in crayon.
What's the warranty of the product to the buyer? Well, in the contracts, by the way, the warranty is 1 year for consumers. A lot of states require that. I don't know. That's when you're selling them the equipment. I guess if you're selling products all over the country, not every manufacturer does offer a 1 year warranty. I don't know what the Qualys and Alarm.com offer.
Qualys is 12 months, right, Jeremy?
12 months, yeah.
Yeah, so just to give you guys, and just to kind of point that out too, that's another real benefit that you guys have when you're selling these do-it-together systems. When you go on Amazon, hey, who's going to stand behind that product after 30 or 60 days, right? When somebody buys this product from you and you tell them, hey, look.
That company's still going to be around in 30, 60 days.
You guys have been in business 20, 30, 40 years, and I've got guys that are like, in fact, one of the guys participating in this program, his company's been in business since 1936. I mean, if you want to talk about a traditional alarm company, it doesn't get more traditional than that. Now, he has some super awesome opportunities right now to say, hey, look, we've been here since 1936. We'll be here for the next 100 years too. We stand behind this product. And hey, by the way, if you have any trouble installing it, I'll send a tech out. That's a strong sales pitch.
Well, I think, you think about DIY in general, and, let's take flooring, for example. There's probably people who say, you know what, I could do my own wood flooring. It's not that hard. I'll watch some YouTube videos, I'll buy some stuff, I'll talk to people at Home Depot. If anyone who's going to do their wood flooring and is going to really do it because they enjoy it, that's a very small percentage of the population. Most people, if they're going to do their own wood flooring, it's because they want to save a few bucks. And this is no different. When you're looking at the opportunity that's placed in front of you as a consumer to say, I want to get a security system, how much do I want to pay? The DIY companies that are out there that have got a lot of steam, the Simply Safes, the Rings, the Nest, things like that. It's because they are doing something very inexpensive. They're not paying for that quality, professional experience. So they expect that. And there is that level of professionalism that you bring. Now, if you know that by doing this, you need to be a little bit more competitive with them. If I, as a consumer, am trying to compare between, those other companies and you, and price is not the part that's making my decision, which way am I going to go? If the price were the same for wood floors to self-install or have a pro install it, what would you do? You'd have a pro install it. So I recognize that there's, you can't always get perfectly down. And Jake's point, the features that you're going to offer, the service you're going to offer is so much better that when they can see that, it really is a stronger offer. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't find ways to try and bring your costs down or perceptionally bring your costs down. Maybe you do want, for this particular audience, to offer you could pay $500 up front and then it's only $20 a month, something like that. Maybe you want to offer a separate line item on your contract. And I don't know if this is available with what you're doing, that says, here's your equipment financing side, and here is your, service side. And when the equipment part of it is done, then you only have the service. And again, there's your lower perceived rate.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think the question of mine that I'm thinking about now, which might be slightly off the topic, is the longevity of this equipment. It seems to me that the DIY equipment is more susceptible to obsolescence or change. than maybe some of the more than the traditional hardwired type systems that go in.
I'd love to address that if I could. So first off, when you go to install a traditional hardwired system, if they do any kind of innovation, the first thing you have to do is say, well, sorry, you got this one instead. So in order to get any kind of innovation, any kind of new technology, any kind of new anything, you have to buy the next generation of that platform. Whereas with IQ Panel, number one, the first thing is the panel you're buying is the same panel that's being professionally installed. Whether it's DIY or it's professionally installed or do it with me, all three of those, it's the same exact platform. So the quality is the same, the skill set's the same, all of it is identical, which means that now you're installing something that has, because it's software based, as new features come out, new technologies come out, new integrations come out, it's a software update that keeps that panel updated as fresh and new as it needs to be. And you don't have to worry about not getting those things. It's going to continue supporting that. Like, the number of features that we support now versus the number of features we supported when we first launched has almost quadrupled, because of the fact that customers like the ones that are on the line today have said, this is a great system, but I also want this, or this is a great system, but can it also do that? If we were limited to only the technology that was installed in the home at the very beginning, then the answer would be no. But because it's software based, the answer can be, you know what, maybe it can. And we can continually upgrade and improve the solution so that it gets better over time, not just for the new customers, but for the customers that already exist.
Well, I can't get out of my head the 20 or so video-fied cameras that I tossed in the garbage well before the batteries wore out. Okay, so again, I think that the DIY equipment is more susceptible to evolution in change than some of the more traditional systems. All right, here's another question.
And I think just real quick to that point, Ken, I think that there's a lot of traditional manufacturers that have attempted to get into kind of the new era of technology and have made some strategic errors in doing that. Rest in peace, Dragonfly, right? That was just not there's just not something that could work. I think that that when you're looking to a technology provider, look to somebody that has created a system that has been implemented and has been implemented in high volume and has a ton of systems that are out there in the field. That is what we found in Qualsys. There are tremendous amount. I don't know exactly how many, but thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of Qualsys systems that are out there. It's not a manufacturer dipping their feet in a new technology.
Well, look, there's no doubt that Alarm.com has made a major impact in the industry. A lot of companies use them. I really have not heard of any issues with them. I will say that I don't know how flexible they are in anything they do. I can tell you that your customers must sign and agree to the Alarm.com contract and terms, and though that is not flexible. And a lot of customers do once in a while. If they get through your contract, meaning the dealer's contract, and you pretty much beat them up at that point, but then they see the Alarm.com terms. Some of them object to that, and the answer is, if you want to use Alarm.com, this is it. We can't change a single word in these contracts. I don't know how flexible they are in anything else they have, and that's not really a question. That's just an observation. Let me read another question. We only have 5 minutes, and I want to get through all the questions from the dealers. Can we use terms and conditions in agreements on a website rather than a DocuSign contract? In the alarm industry, you are contracting away liability for your own negligence, and you must do that in a very clear, conspicuous way. So we're certainly not hiding provisions like a limitation of liability clause, the arbitration clause, the exculpatory clause. We're not hiding that in terms and conditions. You can use terms and conditions. You can use electronic contracts. That's all fine, but it all needs to be very conspicuous, and it all needs to be written properly. So that's the answer to that. Here's another question. It was discussed. Please discuss licensing for DIY. The part you need to be licensed for is the monitoring end. If you're entering into a monitoring agreement with your customer, you need to have a license in approximately 20 different states that require a license for monitoring. When they define alarm systems and they license alarm dealers, they're including monitoring in those services. So you need to be licensed in those jurisdictions, and you need to be licensed in a couple of cities and municipalities as well, or certified or registered. Sometimes they use that terminology.
And Ken, you're making the assumption there that the support, because some of the dealers on the line today might be looking at self-install as an installation option, but they might still support it in a traditional manner, meaning rolling the truck to the house.
If that's the
case, then they also need some additional.
An alarm license is never required for the actual sale of the equipment. It would be required for the installation of that equipment if you provide installation. So you need to be careful with that. Even if you provide telephone support for the installation, you might come under the license jurisdiction. So you need to be careful about that. I should have pointed out there is no license required if it's a DIY system with self-monitoring. Then there would be no license required. The license would only be required if it's going to be professionally monitored.
And a note to that point real quick, there are some jurisdictions where they're not even doing police response right now. So if self-monitoring may be the most viable option for those places as well.
Oh, I love this one. Nationwide DIY contract is $4,500. Do you offer any specials for this webinar? Well, okay, I will. It's 1 o'clock. Order it by 3 and it's $3,500. Don't bother calling, just order it. You got $1,000 you just made, Nick. Just to verify, what is this? Your company is a distribution company of equipment. They're trying to make clear exactly what SSandSI does. It's a distribution company. It sounds like you do a little bit more than that. It sounds like you help the dealers out quite a bit. So what else do you do besides provide a cheaper way for them to buy this DIY equipment?
Yeah, so just so you know, we are not only are we a distributor, but we actually provide quite a bit of support to our dealers as well in the form of marketing support, vendor programs, and access to capital through funding, financing, and bulk deals. We do those through our SSandSI capital partners. Those are trusted providers that we work with, that our dealers have worked with, and then a lot of these resources we provide in-house. My goal is to help independent alarm dealers be successful. That's what I've built my business on, is helping small to mid-size alarm companies and some very well-established larger companies to be successful in their markets, and that's really what we do. I like to think of us as a distributor plus.
Okay, all right. Nick and Jeremy, you get less than 15 seconds to answer each of the following questions. Well, this one's for me. Is there a separate alarm.com document aside for the all-in-one agreement? Yes, there's an alarm.com contract that has to be agreed to, and there's no changing it, not a word. We give it to you? Well, actually, you have to buy the alarm.com terms from us. But it's available on the alarm.com website. Does Qualys alarm transmission go over cell, radio, or is it all internet?
It's both dual path connectivity, which means cellular and Wi-Fi are connected simultaneously. And whichever signal gets there first is used, and that ensures that if one of them is lagging or slowing down, then the other one can pick up the slack.
Okay, I think they're looking for pricing. Monthly signal amount, daily test, opening, closing, and perhaps runaways. Do you know if alarm.com charges separately for those things?
No, so just to be clear on that, so your central station may charge for the test signals. Alarm.com's their pricing structure is such that there's alarm signal forwarding, then there's automation, then there's interactive with automation and video, but they don't do separate line item charges for some of those things. Now, that doesn't change the fact that your central station may charge for daily test or whatever it is that you're providing. But alarm.com sees those signals as signals that they're relaying anyways. They don't discriminate.
And that would be the dealer who's programming in this DIY system, the Qualys panel, to do daily test signals or opening and closing signals. They can program this in even with DIY equipment, correct?
Yes, and not only can they do that, but they may not even need the central station to log that. So they may just log those notifications in alarm.com and even alert their subscriber to open and closings through alarm.com without having to incur additional charges at the central station, because alarm.com can filter out those signals so that they're only sending alarm signals, and those open and closing notifications, they're probably more useful in a text message or email anyways, and that comes from alarm.com.
That's a very important question. So when the dealer programs this, alarm.com can actually send some signals to the central station. Other signals can be sent directly to the subscriber, and they can also decide how they want the subscriber to receive those signals, whether it's going to be a text message or an email. I assume those are the two options.
That's right.
There's a third option.
What's the third option?
The third option is alarm.com has what are called in-app notifications, where the actual app itself will trigger a notification on your phone, and it's not related to any cellular data or communication.
And it's super fast.
Would that be something different than a text message?
It feels similar to a text message, but it's different because it actually has actionable. For example, if I'm driving away from my house and the system detects that I'm out of my geofence, the in-app notification will say, "You've left home, but you didn't arm the system. Would you like to?" And the options would be arm stay or arm away. And I could choose one of those options right there from the text message, right from the notification, to enable a faster, better user experience.
All right. And to get to the pricing, what'd you say? Alarm.com charges what, $10 a month?
It depends. So just so everybody understands, alarm.com pricing is pricing that is between you and alarm.com that you negotiate with them based on volume. There is no central station markup on it. You know exactly what you're going to pay. I encourage you to reach out to your rep and discuss that pricing. They are very accommodating based on volume. I have a lot of guys that have the perception that alarm.com is very expensive. If you're not doing very many systems, it can be more expensive because you're getting a lot more features out of it. But if you're doing any kind of volume, the guys at alarm.com are able to really, get your pricing in line with just about everybody else. And, it's very important to understand that alarm.com's ecosystem is such that there's a lot of additional features that you have. So you may have a very low base rate with alarm.com for alarm signal forwarding. And then if you add those additional features, that rate may go up, just like a central station.
All right. Is there any training video for all of the features on Qualys?
Absolutely. In fact, I would encourage everyone to get access to the dealer portal where you can access our learning management system. And we've got a whole series of videos for technical and a whole series of videos for sales and marketing that should help ensure that everyone is ready and willing to get out there and be successful.
Is that something we should maybe have a webinar on? Is that something you can do on a webinar?
You're happy to, anytime. You name the date and time and I'll be there.
Well, you have to name the date and time, so we'll organize it, okay? So maybe we can do that, but otherwise you can go on the Qualys website and find a bunch of videos, right? But we'll get Jeremy back. Jeremy, you can contact me and we'll organize a video, webinar for you. Now, here's a tough guy. Name me one DIY program that has been successful. I'm not going to make them answer that. I'm going to answer the one that wasn't, Dragonfly. We already talked about that one. And I can tell you this, DIY programs are going to be successful, and you need to find one that is. Do you guys actually want to tell us one that is? I'll tell you one DIY program that's very successful, alarm.com, really successful.
I'll tell you a DIY program that's been really successful, Brinks. If you call or go to Brinks' website, most of the time you're buying a DIY system. There are professional installed ones as well, but there's thousands a month that they do in a DIY fashion. Link Interactive is another great one. You know, there is a lot of ones in our industry that offer both a professional and a DIY type solution, and they're very, very, very successful. And Jake is helping dozens and dozens of people every single day to convert their professional model into a social distance self-install model that could be sustainable after COVID is long over. So it's not difficult to do with the technology and the resources that we have available today.
And just for example, too, like here's a super traditional dealer that is, I mean, just super traditional company in Oklahoma. I believe they've sold already 8 self-install systems, not only to new customers, but to retain customers that have moved out of state. So the reality of it is I have no expectation that a traditional dealer goes from 0 to 1,000 DIY or do it together systems per month, but that's incremental growth, right? And I think right now we could all use some incremental growth. And I think this is an opportunity to not just tap into that nearly half of the market that is opting for self-install, but to also retain customers and gain new customers that you might otherwise not get during this COVID crisis.
This is other licensing. What about licensing in various other states? If you do install, you're going to need licensing in around 40 states, maybe more. If you do monitoring, you're going to need licensing in at least 20 states. That's the answer. Does Alarm.com deal directly with end users? I think the answer to that is no, isn't it? Do you guys know?
No, they do not. Alarm.com is only supporting the dealer channel, and
right.
The dealer channel would then work with the end user.
Right. As a matter of fact, I've commented on that in my articles, that one of the things that I liked about Alarm.com is that they're out there advertising DIY, and they're telling the public that the products and service are only available through dealers. So I think that's something that is a lot better than some of these other DIY programs that or DIY equipment that is offered by manufacturers that do not go through dealers. So I think Alarm.com should be applauded for at least that. Someone said there's competitors on the webinar, but I don't know what that has to do with anything. So
that's okay. Welcome. and I'd like to point out that imitation is the best form of flattery. So I welcome any competition to imitate.
I keep telling myself that when I see my contract terms popping up all over the place.
Yeah, well, I imagine, Ken, that you've got a bigger stick to wag with that. So.
Well, anyway, guys, I want to thank both of you, Jake and Jeremy, for participating today and sharing your knowledge. And we had a good showing today. A lot of people signed on, and I hope they learned a lot. I learned a lot, and I appreciate all the time and statements that you made. You guys want to?
Thanks so much for having us.
Anything else? And we're going to definitely have either one of you or Jeremy, whoever the tech guy is, to do a hands-on how you wire up this panel. I guess, is that your thing?
Sure. We'd be happy to do that. Yeah.
Okay. So if I get at least 3 emails from anyone watching this that they want me to bring Jeremy back, it's a go. All right. So
and I'll bring prizes on that one too.
Okie doke. Jeremy, who are you with? Are you with Jake or are you with a different company?
I run marketing for Qualsys.
Oh, you're on marketing. Okay. But you're a tech guy, not just a marketing guy.
I'm very technical, just by nature, but I am the marketing guy.
Okay, great. Okay, gentlemen, are you guys on the Alarm Exchange? Are you on the Alarm Exchange?
You know, Ken, I'm going to have to find out. I'll make sure that I get you guys the information for that. We certainly should be. And thank you for providing that. It's a great resource for guys looking for service providers.
All right, I think people see that we're just about done, and so that means we are. Thanks again, guys, and everybody.
Take care, everybody.
The rest of the day. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.